You have the right to remain silent, an officer called out as he held the man down to the ground. The man howled with manic laughter as the officer began cuffing his bloodied hands. "Damn it, help me hold him down," he called out to his partner. He glared down at the deranged man with disgust. Come on now. Make the cuffs tighter. I want to really feel that pain," the man said. The officer ripped the blood-soaked man from the ground, causing the hood of his white hoodie to fall. As the hood fell, it revealed a large mop of bushy black hair. The man turned his head to the side, laying one crazed eye on the officer. The officer cringed, nearly stepping back at the sight of the man's ghoulish features. The man's eyes were opened extremely wide as he stared at the officer, and they seemed to be ringed in black, almost looking like burnt skin. The only thing that gave away that it wasn't was the fact that some of it looked smeared, as if it was eyeshadow. The eyes were bad enough, as it made him look almost dead in combination with his ghostly white skin. But what disturbed the officer the most was that wide, unnatural smile he had carved into his face. Two gashes that formed a long, Glasgow smile going from ear to ear began tearing open even more as the man laughed and laughed. The two policemen dragged the man out of the house as he continued to laugh. And as they pulled him forward, one of the officers wondered how on earth someone could turn out like this. He nodded his head to the tune blaring in his ears. The screeching of the strings on the guitar felt so nice and calming to him as he listened. He really did love this tune. It reminded him of home. Or at least, when he used to be home. He paused as a new sound broke through the music. He yanked one of the earbuds out and listened in for it. "Jeff," he heard his father call out from the driver's seat. "Ugh, what is it?" Jeff asked irritably, switching his purple eyes from the window to his father. "Well, first of all, you're gonna start saying yes sir when you're talking to me, young man. And second, I'm trying to see what you want to eat when we get to the house. Lou's asking for pizza." Jeff's father tapped a finger on the steering wheel as he waited expectantly. Jeff sighed. "Ugh, yes, pizza's fine." He looked up at his father. "Sir," he finished with a smirk. "Ugh, kids these days," Jeff's father said. "No respect, I swear." Jeff's mother gently placed her hand onto his father's shoulder. "Just relax, Peter. I'm sure everything will get better over time." Peter scoffed. "Yeah, as if that wasn't what you said last time we moved, Margaret." "Look, I only want what's best for the boys. It doesn't help that one of them has so many blackouts or episodes or whatever the hell you want to call them so consistently." Margaret glared at Peter. "So our son gets into some fights, and it can't be that bad." Peter shook his head. "No, not like this. I know you've been really busy, so you haven't been showing up to the schools, but when I tell you these fights were damaging, I'm not kidding around. They're damaging. He is far, far more reckless than your average teenager." Okay. But you could at least try to have a little bit more faith in your son," Margaret said. "Yeah, I will, when he improves the record he has," Peter responded. "Don't sit here and put on a fake smile and pretend that you believe everything to be cupcakes and rainbows." You have to admit I'm right about this. We've moved schools several times as a result. Jeff placed his earbud back into his ear as his parents continued their argument. He knew exactly what would be said next. His father would look at his mother angrily before saying, "What's next? You're gonna tell me that Lou's personality disorder is perfectly normal?" His mother would most likely then respond, No, Peter. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just saying that maybe you should, try to help them out a little bit. Teach them." Jeff let out an exasperated sigh as he stared blankly out the window, his purple eyes changing to a light red from the sunlight as he did. He had a feeling that his father was disgusted about the way both his sons turned out. He found it to be unfair. It wasn't his fault that one of them was born albino while the other had a split personality disorder. Jeff closed his eyes and leaned against the window. He decided he wasn't willing to worry about it. He snickered to himself as he listened to the aggressive strumming of the guitar. It fit so perfectly with the bloody scenario he pictured in his mind. Darkness slowly overtook him, and the thought faded. As it did, he smiled. At least he had some fun thoughts to keep him company. Jeff awoke with a start as his head bumped against the window. He jolted upright and darted his head around. Where was he? As soon as he realized, he relaxed and settled down into his seat. Jeff looked up at the house, towering above them as they pulled into the driveway. He had to admit that the place was definitely much bigger than where they used to live. As soon as the car came to a stop, Lou swung his door open, bolted out the vehicle, and slammed it behind him. Jeff rolled his eyes. Inching his door open, he stepped out and ambled over to Lou. "Would I be right to assume that you're just beaming with excitement at this new place?" Jeff asked as soon as he reached Lou. "I don't really see why. We'll be without this home in a few months anyway." He wanted to say that they'd be with some other shithole, but with his parents nearby, it wouldn't be worth the hassle. Lou elbowed Jeff. "Well, duh! A bigger house in a nicer neighborhood? What is there not to be excited about?" Jeff shrugged his shoulders. "Well, I guess you're kind of right about that. I'll give you that one this time." As they spoke, Margaret ambled past the two brothers to the front door. As she placed the key into the lock, Peter called out to her, "Hey, hon, could you order the pizza? I gotta get these boxes inside." "Sure thing. Come on, boys, you can tell me what you want to eat," she responded. "Oh ho ho, no you don't. Jeff, you're helping me with these boxes." Jeff spun on his heel. "What? Why do I have to do it?" he blurted out. Peter scowled. "Because you're a 17-year-old who is very disrespectful and needs to learn some manners." Jeff let out a long sigh as he stomped over to his father. He grabbed one of the many boxes and hoisted it out of the car. He gritted his teeth as he carried it over to the door. He really could not wait for the day to finally end. Thankfully, the hours seemed to pass pretty fast as he unpacked each individual box. The day came and went, and before they knew it, Jeff and Lou were standing side by side at their bus stop. As Jeff waited, he thought about yesterday. "I can't believe Mom and Dad," he exclaimed. Lou turned his blue eyes to Jeff. Why? What's wrong? He asked. Jeff glared at Lou. I spent all afternoon unpacking those damn boxes, and just when I think I can finally catch a break, Mom has to invite us to some dumb kid's birthday party? Lou smiled. I don't think it'll be that bad. Jeff scoffed. Whatever. You could at least try to put on a fake smile for once at least, Lou responded, sounding differently. Jeff looked at Lou, an eyebrow raised. Really? You know, if you're going to be mad at me, you could at least do it with your normal ego. Hey, don't get mad at me because your emo attitude and look bring out the worst in people, Lou said, a smile returning to his face. Jeff turned and headed over to the curb. As he plopped down, he responded, No, please. You had that disorder before I even dyed my hair. So don't even make that excuse. He placed his arms over his knees and began to think. I really hope this week doesn't get any worse. The moment Jeff thought this, the sound of something rolling along cement rang out. And it just got worse, he thought, shutting his eyes tight. He spun his head to see 3 teenage boys approaching on skateboards. As soon as they got close enough, they skidded to a halt, the one in the lead kicking his board up and catching it in one hand. They snickered to themselves as they approached, one of the teens in the back shoving the other. Lou spoke first. Hey, you guys taking the bus with us? He asked. The teen in the lead slowly stopped his laughing and smirked. Straightening up his orange hair, he responded, Nah, just noticed some fresh meat on our route and thought we might introduce ourselves. Lou nodded. Well, I'm Lou, and this here is my older brother, Jeff. Pleasure to be meeting ya, the boy responded. I'm Randy, and this here, he pointed his thumb to the teen on his right, is Keith. Jeff examined the one he now knew to be Keith, his eyes changing from their usual purple to red in the light. The kid was skinny, like really skinny. Jeff thought he could snap his bones like twigs with such ease. He snickered at the thought. And the other one, Randy pointed to the kid on his left, is Troy. Jeff switched his gaze to the one that he now knew to be Troy. Talk about a tub of lard, Jeff thought to himself as he looked at the round belly of the teenager. He honestly looked as if he tried to get his hands on whatever food he could get his chubby hands on. Jeff snickered even more as he thought about Troy now. The boy looked as if he could burst at any moment. Jeff's snickering turned to low laughter as he thought about the mess that the boy's body would leave behind. The blood, the gore. Oh, it would be too great to miss. What are you laughing at? Randy asked. Oh, nothing much, Jeff responded. You all just look so perfect when smothered in blood. His smile widened at the thought. The hell kind of thought is that? Randy said. You got a problem or something, Hot Topic? Because if so, we can settle it right here. Jeff stood up. He did have a problem. Quite a few of them, in fact. But at the top of this long list of problems was the fact that he hadn't had something or someone to take his anger out on. Not in a while. Lou grabbed a hold of Jeff's shoulder. Are you really gonna start another fight, man? He asked nervously. You heard what Dad said yesterday. He's clearly getting sick of it. He's starting to call them blackouts and episodes now. Jeff shrugged him off. Who honestly cares what Dad thinks? As far as I'm concerned, He more than likely wishes he had different sons anyway. And besides, this is fun. But this is what got us kicked out of the last school, Lou said. But Jeff didn't hear him. He rushed forward and punched Randy right in the face, causing him to stumble backward. Randy clutched his nose. As soon as he recovered, he pulled his hand away, staring wide-eyed at the blood. This was exactly what Jeff wanted to see. Randy stared daggers at Jeff. Oh, you annoying son of a... He rushed forward, grasping a hold of Jeff and slamming him down to the ground. Randy began laying blow after blow after blow onto Jeff, who laughed with every strike. His laughter only grew more and more with every jolt of pain that went through his head, and especially at the sight of Randy's anger beginning to increase as time went on. Yes, the pain, the blood, the frustration, it all felt so good to him. Jeff suddenly gripped the collar of Randy's shirt, pulling him down and headbutting him right in the nose. The two of them then rolled from the sidewalk to the grass as they continued their brawl. As soon as Jeff was on top, he began smashing his fist into Randy's skull over and over and over again and again. His laughter switched to full-on cackling as he did this. Suddenly, Jeff felt someone pulling him off. "Jesus Christ," a deep voice said. "My God, get him off," another higher-pitched one responded. Jeff laughed and laughed as he struggled against the two boys holding him back. "Jeff, stop." Jeff came to his senses as Lou called his name. The sound of a truck engine, that's what he thought it was, rang out into his ear. His mind finally cleared, and he broke free from Keith and Troy's grip and began rushing down the road. "Hey, wait up!" Lou called out from behind him, but Jeff continued sprinting, all the while still snickering to himself. He knew he would definitely be paying for this later, but man, did it feel good. It may have just been a small taste, but it was enough to get him excited for more.